All right, for our next distinguished alum, I'm going to tap into my best radio voice here. I still do remember how to do that a little bit. Covering the Masters, Jim Militello, the Associated Press. Well, you could have inserted any number of famous sporting events instead of the golf major with that tagline, which Jim just happened to return from the Masters, so we thought that was suitable for the moment. And chances are he is reported at any of those major sporting events over the last course of his 31 years with the Associated Press in Washington, D.C. Jim's gig was pretty much a radio one for the first 25 years, but as we've all seen how our media world has changed, Jim has changed along with that. Now, stations across the country still subscribe to the AP service, but now Jim has branched out into web reporting, putting a face on the voice that we've heard for all those times, and I know Jim has enjoyed that different part of his career as well. The resume is impressive. 13 Olympiads on 4 continents, 17 Masters, including Jack Nicklaus's improbable 6th and final one in 1986, as well as Tiger Woods' record-breaking first one at the age of 21. Jim even got to play around at the fabled Augusta course once, the day after the final round. You want to tell us what you shot that day? He doesn't want to tell us. Like a good reporter, you make sure you get the right facts ready. He didn't have that one ready. Well, he's been to England and he's walked the courses at numerous British Opens. He was there for Wimbledon's and back on native soil for U.S. Opens and Ryder Cups. 13 Super Bowls, Kentucky Derbies, World Series, Final Fours, NBA championships each fall on his resume. What a dream job for anybody to be able to do and see the things that Jim has seen throughout his career. But he's also an ardent advocate of the UB Alumni Association as anybody. He's served long terms on the executive committee and as president of its D.C. chapter. Last fall, the New York State Society in D.C. presented Jim its Charging Buffalo Award for Career Achievement. I'm proud to call Jim a friend and a mentor and a guy that I have looked at for guidance in my lifetime as a broadcaster, and I'm proud to introduce him to you. Ladies and gentlemen, reporting from the UB Alumni Association Athletic Hall of Fame, Jim Militello.
Wow. First of all, I want to offer my congratulations to my fellow honorees tonight. Stacy for her brilliant pitching career, Devin, who excelled both on the soccer field and in the classroom, Jennifer for her groundbreaking track career, Jack, one of the few remaining dying breed of two-sport athletes and standouts, Joe for his record-shattering baseball career, and as we just heard, Bob, who set the standard for athletic administration excellence. And I'm sorry to have diluted the talent field, but then there's me. I've got a big smile on my face tonight because of how pleasantly surprised I am. I have family and friends here tonight to share this evening with me. Some of my friends I've known since I was 4 years old, and I can guarantee you none of them have ever been tempted to use the words Jim Militello and distinguished in the same sentence. As a matter of fact, those that have known me the longest probably are still having a tough time getting their heads around Jim Militello and alumni in the same sentence. I am feeling a little bit like an interloper here tonight with these Athletic Hall of Famers because I didn't really compete at UB, but I did play some intercollegiate football at the University of Guelph in Canada. It was a rather undistinguished career at wide receiver. It lasted all of 3 games, the highlight of which was being in for a first and goal from the 3-yard line, and I had a slant pattern call for me. I managed to break away from the coverage, was wide open, and I had to dive for the ball, and I didn't come up with it. Now, I probably should have caught it, but one thing that's always vexed me is how do you underthrow a guy who's 5'6" from 3 yards out? The quarterback is here tonight, and we're going to find out later on from him. While my playing career was brief, I like to think that at 5'6", I was like a prototype for a Players like a certain wide receiver who was a former New England Patriot, now with the Denver Broncos, who has vexed the Bills for many years. And while I may have had the physical stature of Wes Welker, unfortunately, I had the athletic ability of Lawrence Welk. So when it became painfully evident I couldn't make a dent as a player, I decided to do what I do best, and that's talk. In this case, about sports, and I stumbled upon my current job as a broadcast sports reporter for Associated Press that I've been at for the last 33 years. Part of this honor is for that career, but the truth be told, I view my time at AP in rather simple terms. Like many people in this room and around this community and around this country, I basically just go to work and do my job. And I view that as one of the most valuable traits I learned here growing up in Western New York. Now for me, I admit just going to work sometimes means my office is Augusta National or Wimbledon or Churchill Downs, but that's part of the job. The work approach is the same as a single mother of 5 who had to work 3 jobs just to make ends meet, or a high school graduate who ascended to the ranks of corporate human resources despite the fact that she didn't have a college degree, or a high school graduate who's carved out a great niche as a medical professional despite the fact that she doesn't have an advanced degree, or thousands of others who every day go about their business in perhaps far less sexy jobs than mine, but give it the same type of effort and who never get recognized. So, I'd like to share my honor, with your permission, with those people tonight. My relationship with UB started with a letter of rejection in 1969. Buffalo State and ECC also sent me similar no thank you letters. It became abundantly clear at that time that my hope for a higher education excellence was pretty much remote. But 8 years later, UB accepted me as a transfer student. And you may say, well, what did you accomplish in those 8 years? Among the highlights, I flunked out of one school and I got fired from my first full-time job. But I got my degree and some 15 years later got involved with the Alumni Association. If you haven't yet, I'd like to encourage you to do so. It's been one of the most satisfying and rewarding times I have spent. I work with some of the most selfless and dedicated volunteer alumni who've been inspirational to me with their commitment to UB. Every time I'm involved or happen to be on campus, I'm remarkably energized by teaching and research done by faculty, the enthusiasm with which students dive into their work and activities, and the tremendous promise that they will take what they've learned here and play it forward in the tradition of excellence that we've come to expect from UB. I get excited, I get jacked up every time. It's kind of like being on a high without the mandatory sentencing. Some thanks are in order, though. To my friend of 33 years, my wife, it's not a coincidence that my career success has come during the time that I've known you. She's been unfailingly supportive and generous about my taking time, especially to handle alumni duties. She's often encouraged it, as a matter of fact. It's gone something like this. Isn't it about time you went up to Buffalo for a UB thing? To my stepdaughters, who along with their mother are some of the most inspirational, hardest working, tough, loving, funny, and annoying people I know, I'd like to say thank you and thanks for being here. To my lifelong friends who never, ever, ever, ever allow me to believe, no matter where I went or what I covered, I wasn't anything more than the root from Cheektowaga that they grew up with. To Mike Jankowski of the Office of Alumni Relations and longtime journalistic friend, he's a former sports writer for the Courier Express, sports information director and athletic director at Niagara. His creative writing skills, and I emphasize creative writing skills, that he learned at St. Bonaventure were the impetus for my selection for this honor tonight. The staff of the Office of Alumni Relations, without their hard work and behind-the-scenes effort and help, which often go unrecognized and unthanked, nothing we do as Alumni Board gets done without you. You are superstars. You have my boundless appreciation and admiration. My thanks to the Hall of Fame Committee for awarding me this unbelievable and humbling honor tonight. I'm grateful to the athletic department here at UB. Some of you may not know that this used to be a pay event until this year. The generosity of the athletic department and athletic director Danny White, as well as Associate Vice President of Alumni Relations and the Alumni Relations Office, have made tonight possible as it is. Don Reed and Marianne Ike of the athletic department, thanks for all you did to make this night possible. For my family and friends and the other honorees, any kind of honor or recognition is great, especially when, like this, it's totally unexpected. But what makes this so special to me is it's rooted where I'm from. I'm proud to be from Western New York, I'm proud to be a Buffalonian, and I'm damn proud to be a UB Bull. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.